Hello, I am Davina, and hello to all of you bold, beautiful, brilliant, and evolving souls. Thank you always for watching. Um, and yeah, I really appreciate you being here. Today, I am going to talk about, I guess maybe I'll just title this How Unfair This Is. How completely and absolutely unfair it was that you were abused as a child, that you were used and abused and neglected as a child. This should not have happened to you. And this is where we need to go to really dig up that rage, is to really um, feel that child and how they would have sensed that, the unfairness, the injustice of it, that you were just an innocent child, just an innocent child. And all that shame and guilt that you feel right now, that belongs to your parents, right? It's their shame and their guilt. And yet we have taken on that burden. And it's easy to get identified with those feelings. So just try to remember that those feelings belong to your parents. And even just saying that can be kind of freeing. This doesn't belong to me. This belongs to my parents. Um, Another thing that can be really freeing is like, I could not be doing any better than I am right now. Um, because I just sensed all this tightness this morning. And if I had that sense of like, if I do the wrong thing, if I do the wrong, if I'm gonna be doomed. One mistake and I'm gonna be doomed. And that is such a constant, I think. And it comes from the shame. It comes from thinking that we were to blame for our abuse, that we deserved it, that we didn't deserve the love and the compassion and the sensitivity and the kindness. Um, so to really understand that it was not your fault. And I'm just writing down sort of like a stream of consciousness that came to me this morning. Um, and our lives have been driven by this shame and the guilt and the fear. And I just become so much more aware of it every single day, how much my life is driven by these things and by the conditioning to fawn and people please. Like it is always there, right beneath the surface. Just this morning I was like going out to the elevator to, get the grocery, let the grocery guy in. And I didn't bring my mask. I normally wear my mask still, indoors and public places. And it was just a split second, but I was thinking, I don't want to leave him waiting. So it's a split second, and your subconscious mind is taking over and it's acting for you. You're not even, it doesn't even feel like it's me. Sometimes I think back at the end of my day and go like, what happened? Was that even me? What was I doing? Like I'm just like a puppet or a robot, like moving through my day, just like all this shame and terror. So, we had a narcissistic parent. This is one step away from a psychopath, really. And if you had two narcissistic parents or narcissistic siblings who all were just, um, wanted to put you down, it's a miracle that we are alive today. And sometimes I don't want to like, I have to be careful with this. I always say grief before gratitude, because it can be very dangerous to say, oh, we're so lucky to be alive. So if you're not feeling that, don't go there. That will come maybe in time. And I'm not even really there. But sometimes I just remind myself a little bit, like it's actually lucky that I'm alive today. But just be careful with that sort of lucky and grateful, because you got to get really angry and you got to do a lot of grief first before you can actually feel grateful. And I'm not there yet. Um, so I just remind myself, yeah, my life could not be any better than it is. When I tell myself I should be doing better, I should be thriving, or why is my life so like such a mess right now, or whatever it is, it's kind of a lie to tell myself that. The truth is, I couldn't be doing better because I did not have parents that helped me to flourish, right? I had parents that like damaged me, right? And I have struggled in survival mode for over 50 years. So why would I be flourishing and thriving? I mean, I'm definitely more flourishing and thriving than I was a decade ago or 15 years ago. So this is the win. Um, and I wrote here, I was doomed from the womb. Like that's how I feel. Like when I say that, it almost kind of it doesn't feel hopeless. It feels like almost freeing. I mean, it's a combination, but it's like it just lets go of that the control I think that I've held on to, that that it was my fault. When we think it's our fault, then we want to control everything, right? Um, but really, like, even when I was a young baby, that, the grooming and the abuse had already started, from day one, even from in the womb. Like you were already in that sort of toxic environment of whatever your mother was doing. This is the truth, right? So it frees us of the blame and of the shame and thinking like we could be doing better, or our lives should be better, or you know it shouldn't be better. How could it be better when you came from like crap, um yeah, and yeah, your parents failed you, society failed you, your school likely failed you. I mean, I remember having abusive teachers, and definitely the mental health care system has also probably failed you as it has failed me. Because when I was anorexic at 20, how come someone wasn't asking me like, how's your home life, or how was your childhood, So, it's just like, as I said in another video, it's just like a domino effect. It's just like one thing after another. You're abused, and then you're an addict, and you're a codependent, and things just happen. Like it's just, yeah. And we are like, the fact is, like, we are susceptible. I mean, how it is incredibly unfair, and yet that is the world. That is how it is, and it's hard to awaken to this fact. And definitely don't rush it. Like when you're in the anger of it, I'm still angry. Obviously, I'm talking with anger here. Um, yeah, so it's just sort of like I'm just starting to uncover this, like, this is the way it actually is. Life is actually unfair, to really feel that, not just to say it as a thing, but to know that we are all susceptible to anything. Anything good can happen, anything bad can happen. And I say those terms loosely, like good and bad, because everything here is just meant to awaken us. That's it. That's the whole purpose of life as I see it. This is basically a shit world, right? It's a world that causes us pain, right? Um, since the day we were born. It causes us pain and suffering. As a, this world is meant to, drain us of all of this, all of the pain, all of the stuff that's inside us, all this shame and guilt and fear and rage and grief, and all of it, hopelessness and loneliness and a sense of being separate. Life is, as I've said sometimes, is like meant to put you through the ringer. Imagine one of those clothing ringers where you wring out the water, like used a long time ago, used to like wring out the water in the clothes so that they could dry. This is kind of what I feel like I'm going through. Like it's just like wringing me out, and all the water or the like pain is like leaving me, but it is excruciating at times, and it is painful, well, most of, like, all the time, really. Um, and yeah, so I think when we fully awaken to the truth of things, of how they actually are, once we've, grieved and healed all this pain, we can awaken to, oh, this is how it actually is. Life is actually kind of shitty and is meant to cause you pain. Then we can accept the pain. We can really fully accept that, oh, this is how I'm feeling right now, like without any shame, without any fear. And I'm not there yet. I'm just starting to see like sort of how things go. I don't know, in my opinion. So we can see, we can then see the beauty, and then we can actually really, truly, I think, appreciate, again, that sort of grief before gratitude. We have to feel all that pain and grief, and then we can start to truly appreciate the things that are beautiful in the world. And maybe everything will be beautiful when you awaken. I don't know. I hope so. And then pain will just come and go, and they'll just be like that's how it was kind of meant to be. When you're a child, you're just like, your basic state is a sense of calm, contentness, curiosity, confidence, creativity, all those C words. I love it. That was your natural state, feeling safe, calm, and content. And then something would happen, and then you feel your frustration, or you could feel your anger, and then it passes away 90 seconds later. That's how life is meant to be, right? When you process your pain, it just, you're in joy, you have some pain, you process it, and you're back to joy again. Really, I think so. This is but this is not how it actually is, because how it actually is we all get abused as a child, most of us, and some of us really, really badly. Um, so once we heal this inner child, the ego, I think, dissolves. And I don't know, I've never used the term ego really, but this sense of self, I think, is the term. This sense of self that we have starts to dissolve. And then there's not this extra chattering person in the mind. There's not this extra storytelling and narrating and suffering. And there's just feeling, just feeling pain. And that's when they say, um, what is it? Pain is inevitable and suffering is optional. I don't really like that term, but that's kind of what it means. It's true, but it's not. This is, how do I say, like, it's something that we eventually can get to, but it's not the truth for most people. Most people are suffering, right? But once I think we awaken, we empty of self, and then we are no longer attached to this idea of me and I and unfairness, and you know, um, and we're just one with everything, one with the universe, and the mental suffering ends. It ceases to be, because with no self, there's no problem, right? All our problems are kind of self-related, right? Self um, comes from a self-centeredness. And I don't mean that, again, in a negative way. I just mean it like because we have an inner child, a hurting, a very, very hurting inner child that we carry around with us, who's going, it's unfair, and I hate you, mommy. And, that inner child is furious, and has a right to be furious. So, um, we can't reach awakening until we have completely healed that inner child part of us, that unconscious, the unconscious emotional pain. And I think also when we heal the shame, then we can become truly humble and surrendered to this divine creator, whatever you want to call it, this life force that flows through all of us. And then we're not trying to control everything anymore. And yeah, we see that the truth of life and how it actually is. And then we're not fighting against it anymore. We're not trying to control. And as I said, like, I am not there. I don't know when I'm gonna get there, if ever. I think possibly in this lifetime, if I can live that long. Um, but becoming, yeah, this truly just humbled, where you're surrendering to, what is, and realizing that it is unfair and we don't have much control really at all. Actually, maybe nothing. I don't know. Um, so anyway, those are kind of my thoughts for today. A mix of mingle of just like, it's totally understandable what you're going through, and what we feel is real. It is real because these pains really happen to us, and it is valid. And yeah, so as I said before, there's no easy way out of this, and it can really, really, really suck. Um, but yeah, anyway, I just wanted to share that with you this morning. And as always, I am wishing you so many blessings on this journey of healing and awakening. And yeah, you are worthy and beautiful and lovable. And I am Davina at Boldness Blooming. Thank you so much for watching.